The Health Chat with Oborne Health Supplies is a conversational style podcast bringing you the stories behind dynamic, innovative and trending brands in the natural health space. Join us. Hello and welcome to the Health Chat. I'm your host, Vicky and I'm once again joined by my co-host, Rick Hay. Hi, Rick.
Hey, Vicky, all ready to talk about everything immune today?
Really am. I'm super excited for this topic because there's a lot of new products and new types of delivery systems that we'll be talking about in the immune space.
And you know what? When we were both doing research for this, there's one particular product and ingredient that really did blow us both away. I didn't realize just how fabulous it was and how many allowable TGA claims there are surrounding this particular ingredient. So this was a good one. This was a good one to do. I wanted to do immune. Little did I know that what it held in store for us other than immune.
Agree. Yeah. Actually, I am going to be using it today. I'm so excited. I can't wait. So I thought I'd start off by talking about liposomal delivery. Now, I know it's not new, right? It's not a new mode of delivery, but it's definitely becoming more common in our health industry as a mode of delivery for supplements. I'm focusing on Melrose because Melrose have just brought out 4 products in this range, in the liposomal range. And I mean, Melrose are really leveling up. I feel like every month or two, they're just bringing out new stuff that is, at the forefront. And I remember doing the podcast with Nathan Chong, the CEO of Melrose, last year. And I asked him, what new things are coming in the horizon? He didn't tell me we were going to be in store for some amazing things. This is like next level, right?
And we knew it was coming.
We knew
but it's nice to be surprised, isn't it? And I think that's a case of under promising and over delivering, which is pretty unusual these days, isn't it?
Yeah? It is. And I'm blown away. So interestingly, the liposomal mode of delivery was first researched in the 1970s. It's actually as old as I am, but it was only in the 90s that they started to show promising results, with trends showing high uptake of this technology increasing since 2020. Now, liposomal delivery is, I thought I'd briefly explain how it works, right? So in liposomal delivery, what we have, the active ingredients are encapsulated in these hydrophilic and hydrophobic sort of spheres, right? And these are used to transport these active ingredients to locations in the body where they are most effectively absorbed. And liposomes are directly diffused into the bloodstream and they bypass any of the digestive absorption, which in itself can be quite limiting. The GI tract is normally acidic, and this can compromise nutrients bioavailability, but also there are some medications and supplements that need to be metabolized by the liver in order to become available for the body to utilize. This not only takes time, but without the required cofactors, may not take place effectively. And so what happens is when you take a liposomal, the way it works is even just putting it in your mouth. So just by taking a few pumps and putting it in your mouth, you are directly getting absorption into the bloodstream. So you can swallow it as well, because believe it or not, even in the esophagus, in that tract is where absorption takes place. So it's not like you have to keep it in your mouth like a homeopathic remedy. You can swallow it if you want to, but it diffuses into the bloodstream straight away. And I love that it's not dependent on whether you eat something or not, because for a lot of the fat-soluble vitamins, you do need to consume a meal that does have some fat associated with it. But with liposomals, you don't need to. You don't eat, you do eat, you have water, you don't have water, it makes no difference. Pop it in your mouth or on your skin and it is absorbed straight away. I'll be talking about the Melrose vitamin C, and normally vitamin C is dependent on vitamin C transporters in the gut, and it's absorbed via the distal small intestine. However, when carried as liposome, vitamin C is directly diffused into the bloodstream and bypasses the gut limiting step. In actual fact, the bioavailability is about 1.7 times greater than that if you were to take it as a capsule or a powder. So if you take it as a powder or a capsule, you'd get anywhere between 14 to 30% absorption. But when you take it as a liposome, you get 1.7 times what you would normally absorb if you were to take it as a powder or a capsule, which is quite a huge amount. So you would be taking the same dose but absorbing 1.7 times more. You need about 5 ml, which will give you 1,000 milligrams of ascorbic acid. And you are not going to get any gut irritation because it doesn't even affect the gut in any way. All of the Melrose liposomals are free from genetically modified ingredients, and they're all gluten-free. But there are 2 in the range that are vegan, and that's the nicotinamide riboside and the vitamin D and K2. But I have a special thing and a special love for the Beauty Collagen Complex astaxanthin liposomal, which I don't know if you can see. I'll pop it on the screen. Tell you why I love it. It's because it really is a antioxidant powerhouse. I mean, there's so much research in the fatigue arena, cardiovascular health, a lot in the cancer space, but my love for it is in the skin, right? And it's anti-aging benefits for the skin. And in fact, research that was conducted in 2019 that was published by the Food Science and Biotechnology Journal found that liposomal delivery with that high phospholipid composition had just over 95% bioavailability, which is incredible because it's not a cheap ingredient, as you know, like it's always something that's on the high price. But this way, you're getting maximum absorption.
The beauty of the liposomals, from what I'm hearing as well, is that many people, are suffering from poor gut function, and the microbiome is all over the news, has been for a while now, and it's going to really be like the turmeric for the next 5 years, where we're talking about it a lot because it is so efficacious. It is so in the news.
Yeah.
But what I like about that is if you are someone whose gut is a bit compromised, whose digestive system isn't really working, whether that be through stress or whether you've got some other sort of condition, the liposomal seems to sort of be the way to go, because you're not then relying on an optimal gut function in order to get all your nutrients, in there. So it's a nice little, not only is it an efficient delivery system, but I think a good one for people whose digestive health is a little bit compromised. And with that ingredient astaxanthin, I really thought I knew everything about it. And I've been a fan of it for a long time, as you said, because of the antioxidant properties. I read a lot about it with aging well, and became very interested with some of the research that was out probably about 5, 6, 7 years ago, and became a bit of a convert. And then I didn't read about it anymore until today, right? And what I found was, I was looking, because I knew you were talking about the liposomal astaxanthin, but I also wanted to give people out there who are plant-based an option of one. So there's a new product out by Vital, and it's a Vital astaxanthin. It's the Astareal, so it's a very clean 6 milligrams source of the microalgae. And when I was reading it, I saw that it had a TGA listing, which is a good thing, and I wanted to see what were the allowable claims around it. Now, this is where I got a bit blown away, because whilst I knew astaxanthin was wonderful for those other things, I didn't quite realize that it can do, skin firming and help with inflammation of the skin and skin health and really plumpness and all that sort of stuff. So suddenly, yes, like yourself, I'm more interested in this ingredient, not only for the immune benefits that we're talking about today, because it will help you with those, with its free radical scavenging effects, but to know that it has some allowable claims around it. And even the name of the Vital astaxanthin is age-defying. So a plant-based, age-defying 6 milligram dose of it. I'm going to grab some today, because I'm more than ever converted. So we've got 2 good products, whichever one you want to go for, and one of them being the liposomal, the other one being more plant-based, and as I said, with that Astareal form, a very clean astaxanthin microalgae. So we really did start off, I think, with a nice age-defying bang with an immune system kick, which is what we all need, because yourself, you then imagine if your immune system's down, you look a bit, sallow, don't you? But if you're feeling a bit low with immune system and fatigue, often your skin health suffers. So this is going to give you a bit of both. Really, really big fan. So let's see how I'm looking at the end of the year. I'm going to put astaxanthin to the test, and we'll see what happens to this aging head of mine.
The next one I'm going to talk about is actually a food, and it's from Neutral Organics. And we know them so well. They're prolific in the marketplace, right? They're very popular. And they've got a new range of bone broth concentrates. And I was very lucky, very, very fortunate to get one of each of those broths and to try them out. Now, I'm very used to the delicate flavor of the original powdered form of Neutral Organics bone broths. These are far richer. I'm a huge advocate for bone broths. I'll be completely upfront there. I use them quite a lot in my cooking. But what I like is that these contain like 40% collagen protein. They're made from Australian grass-fed cattle, apple cider vinegar to draw out the nutrients from these bone broths. They come in 3 delicious flavors. I'm salivating as I say it. That's really weird. There's ginger and lemon, there's native herb, and there's natural. Now, when we talk about the nutritional profile, they're all identical. It's just the flavors that have a bit of a difference. It just adds another depth of flavor that you don't get with the powdered form. The only drawback is they do need to be refrigerated once opened. It's kind of got this molasses look to it. I'll have a cup of bone broth because of all the gut support and the immune boosting properties.
Like all of our mushroom ranges and those immune boosting mushrooms that we have, falls into that functional food category, doesn't it? So you're getting the therapeutic benefits via a food, which is a pretty good way to do it. And speaking of the mushrooms, it wasn't something I was planning of talking about today, but we do have from Tonica, a nice range of immune boosting mushrooms that if we had time, we would have talked a little bit more about, but you can search for those. There's a few there that are going to help you through the winter months as well, and can be taken in a drink or added to your soups or your casseroles or whatever it is you're doing as well. So nice little thing. I don't know how we forgot about mushrooms today, but that will fit them in another time. You know what? Let's do a little bit of a mushroom one in the coming months, because they are super on trend. I have heard about the Neutral Organics broths, though, that they're pretty tasty from the people in the office here. So something else that's new that's come out is something I'm a bit of a fan of, being a herbalist, and it's the new. I'm going to try and hold that one up, and I know that Vicky will put a picture of it up later. It's a kids, adult, and cough range, some Booker's Black Elderberry range from Brower. Now there's an Immune Fort, Immune Plus, kids, a cold and fort formula. Cold and flu fort formula with ivy leaf. But the basis of these all have Wellimmune in them. Now, Wellimmune is a beta-glucan from Saccharomyces, so it's a yeast. And what we're getting there is the immune boosting benefits of the beta-glucans, which are well researched and documented. So you've got a cold and cough and sort of flu formulas here that also will give you that bit of that immune boost. Now, the kids' formulas are there as well, so you have the option of those should you wish to give them to your children. The thing about these that they've got as I said, the elderberry, the elderflower, and throughout the range they either have some C, some zinc, and some vitamin D. Not in all of them, but scattered throughout. So again, those cofactors are going to help you with severity and length of common colds. They're going to help with severity and length of infection, and also I think just give you a little bit of a soothing at the same time, because you've got that sort of benefit of the elderberry and elderflower. So as you know, elderberry it's been used traditionally for a long time for upper respiratory tract stuff. If you're into botany or herbal medicine, you'll know that it's traditional usage now, backed up by some nice scientific research around the whole cold, cough, flu, upper respiratory stuff. So really nice new range. And beta glucans are something that, although they're nothing new, they are having a bit of a resurgence, and having a bit of a resurgence because, again, the more we research into them, the more we find out about their general immune boosting properties. So a nice one to have if you catch that cold and flu, a nice one to have if you've got that sort of tickly sore throat. Even if you don't have the cough, you can sort of soothe it, maybe get it before it all starts. So really impressed with this range, and it's on special this month as well. Nice one, and tasty as well. Now I realize we're doing new stuff, but I just wanted to cheat a little bit and throw in a couple of the immune boosters that we have in our range that have been very successful over the last year and in the last winter season in particular. And the first one I wanted to talk about was the oil of oregano. Now, the oregano from Whole Earth and Sea, it's wild crafted. It's also got some vitamin E in it. Now, this will help to reduce the symptoms of the common cold and flu. So it's a nice one, I thought, if you're into oregano and you wanted it to help you when the early signs of cold and flu hit. It gives you an example of a liquid drop form that you can take. The other one I want to talk about was A. Vogel, and it's the echinacea spray. I know, Vicky, this is one of your favorites, and you encouraged me to talk about it, but I've used it myself as well. Not only does it give you the option of a different delivery system, so you're going to get the spray if you like that, because everybody has their favorites, don't they? Some people like tablets, some people like liposomes, some people like the little drops, some people like the powders, some people like the sprays. When I do have a sore throat, I find the spray gives me that soothing. I feel I'm really doing something, and the spray gets into the throat, and I just kind of feel like it's a gargle without having to gargle. Now, this has both the echinacea in it, which I'm sure most people are familiar with its cold immune boosting properties, especially around the common cold. The research with echinacea, but it also has sage in it, and sage with upper respiratory stuff, again, it's something that we don't automatically think of, but it does again have that history of traditional use, and with our modern research into it is showing that it can help when you combine the two. I always love a botanical with another one to give you all those phytonutrients, all those antioxidants that one doesn't have, and to potentiate the action of each other. That's how I kind of feel. And when I had a really wonderful herbal lecture the other day, which is why when you go to see a herbalist or a naturopath, they'll often give you a tincture that has more than one thing in it. And it's for that reason they act together. And yeah, I think you get a little bit more bang for your buck. And my last one for today is the immune defense from Immuni. Now, this one, I don't want to go back to it, but look, I have to mention it. It's still lurking out there. COVID, haven't said the word for a while. Thank goodness. Still suffering from the grain fog. That sums it up, doesn't it? From the brain fog. Don't edit that out, because really it lets everybody know exactly where I am. But I've made some improvement. I think I'm about back to 40% brain capacity. Friends will laugh and say that was only where I ever was, but I'm aiming higher. That brain fog for me has been going on for about 3.5 months, entering 4. Talked to some really good naturopaths in over here, and also to my GP, who said it could last 6. So if you're like me, hang in there. It seems to come back. I know it's really tough, but if you do get COVID, or you do get colds and flus, and there's quite a few head colds around at the moment, really knocking people about, and the flu season, of course. This immune defense from Immuni has quercetin in it. Now, quercetin has been a go-to ingredient throughout COVID for its anti-inflammatory properties, and I'm very glad to see it in this formula alongside a D3, zinc, and vitamin C. Now, this is a plant-based formula, so of course I'm going to give it a rah-rah. I would give it a rah-rah even if it wasn't, because it's efficacious and you're going to get some nice results. I used it all through last winter. Got my mum on it now. Mum's still been, luckily, one of the few people that I know that I've managed to keep COVID free, and her immune system nice and strong throughout the last few years. But this one, really worth it. Again, the D to help with mood as well as immune function as we head into the darker months. And I think that's important, that we keep our immune system supported through our mood, because if we don't keep our mood up, your immune system doesn't stand a chance. So don't forget, throughout the winter months, your B vitamins are going to help you as well. Looking into our products that are going to give you some nervous system support, like magnesium as well, and the D, I think is very important to keep your immune system up, because nothing in the body acts in isolation. So give your mood a bit of support, and your immune will probably stay stronger.
Very well put. I love that formula. And it's interesting we're talking about mood, because I did a video with Mark Wells, who is an expert in flower essences, and he was talking about exactly the same thing, keeping the mood to help alleviate some of the side effects, or even to help just, keep the bugs away. But can I just quickly go back to A Vogel for a second? I am not
Yes,
joking. I have it at my desk. This one
yes,
I
yes.
finished yesterday. No, this is the one I finished yesterday, and this is the one I have now. But I wanted to show that unique delivery system, because it's not a
Yeah,
spray
yeah.
that's like from here, actually it's for deeper delivery, right? And so I really like this spray. I use it quite a lot. My kids do too. As soon as you get that tingle, spray, amazing.
When I used to have my clinics years ago, Vicky, I'm a big fan of echinacea at the beginning. Yeah. And with all our products that we've talked about today, if you can get them at the beginning of whatever,
Mm.
you think is coming on, I found that sometimes with the right dose, the right amount, the right product, the thing you think you're getting doesn't happen. And you can say to someone, I was coming down with that, but I hit it and I hit it hard. And I've found also, if you do then get it and you take a product like the immune defense, certainly the duration is shortened, and certainly severity is shortened as well. So I have to give a shout out to zinc, which I didn't before, because that's in that formula, and also will help us with overall immune function. So I hope we've given some good tips for the coming winter season.
Brilliant.
We had a lot to choose from. We have tried to pare it down this time, because we always do rave on a bit much. It's always hard for us because we have such a selection to choose from. But I think the ones today we've given a nice cross section of, and whichever floats your boat, give it a go, and hopefully you'll get a healthy, happier flu season.
You're so right. That was very difficult to choose from. So we've got a lot of products that we get the benefit of going through and seeing what's new. And I hope that just gave everyone a bit of a snapshot. But we'll be back next month. Thank you, Rick.
Yes, thank you, Vicky.
Ciao.